Jara supply chain, highlighting and showcasing solutions for the most complex challenges facing the industry in 21st century by our team of subject matter experts and mentors. Broadcasting every week, all year round, we will present the most up-to-date series of podcasts and webinars.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Bicara Supply Chain. This is Nur Hadi House. Today's topic is how can IoT, Internet of Things, improve the logistic industry? And we have a very special guest today, Ammar Aamer, associate professor at the Northeastern University. Thank you for being here, Ammar. Could you please share a bit about yourself and your professional background?
All right, thank you, Nur Hadi. Again, my name is Ammar Aamer. I'm an associate professor at Northeastern University in the College of Professional Studies in the Master of Science in Project Management program in the Toronto, Canada campus. Just a quick background of the Northeastern University. Northeastern University is one of the top US universities. It was established in 1898 with the main campus in Boston, USA. And the university has regional campuses in Charlotte, North Carolina, San Francisco, California, Seattle, Washington, and the one in Toronto where I'm actually located at. And there's also another campus in Vancouver as well as in Europe, which is in London. In terms of my experience, I have more than 22 years of work experience, both in industry as well as in academia. It is in the area of supply chain management. I started my career in consulting, managing a lot of projects. I'm actually a project management professional with PMP certification. I also did a lot of work in the Lean Six Sigma, simulation modeling, and data analytics as well. So that is about myself.
Wow, wonderful. So let's talk from the basics. What is IoT by definitions, and how do you see the challenge and opportunities for the next 3 and 5 years from now?
Interesting. As you know, that IoT is one of so many trends that is happening nowadays in terms of Industry 4.0. So if we want to define IoT, so basically IoT is defined as a set of digitally connected devices, equipment, or even physical objects.
Yeah.
And this is connection to the cloud or what we call the internet. And the goal here is to create real-time communication and exchange of data with other devices and objects over the internet. By doing this, we allow for real-time collection of data, and that is to monitor activities for the purpose of the agility, visibility of the process within an organization. So that is basically what an IoT stands for. That is in terms of definition. But if you ask me about the challenges and the opportunities, I would like to start with maybe the opportunities. What is it in, or what does the IoT offer in terms of the opportunities for logistics? So in terms of opportunities, we're talking about the advancement and improvement of the logistics in terms of traceability and visibility, which is very important in terms of logistics per se and supply chain in general. Another opportunity is the coordination and information sharing in the supply chain. Also the real-time data-driven decision-making, which is very important. Making decision based on data and informed data is very important. Also, if we talk about managing logistics projects, IoT provides an opportunity in managing projects, risks, schedules, as well as costs. And this is usually done by integrating the real-time data that we generate from the sensors through IoT, and integrating that with artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms can provide very important predictive analysis for the logistics operation. So this is basically some of the opportunities we talk about in terms of IoT.
Yeah.
If we move toward the second part of your question, which is the challenges, I summarize the challenges that is facing IoT in one of my recent publication in one of the peer-reviewed journals. It is was actually published in Benchmarking, an international journal. It was about IoT adoption challenges, and it was about the food supply chain, but it's relevant also to logistics. And I summarized the challenges in my publication in under 6 main categories. Number one, in terms of the challenges, I put it under the technical challenges. So when you talk about IoT, we have technical challenges in terms of the hardware, the network structure, the integration with the existing information technology. Another category in terms of challenges also, it could be falling under financial, which is the capital investment that we have to invest. Financial, yes. The third theme or the category in terms of the IoT challenges has to do with the operational, which is managing and administrating the IoT networks, data security, and trust among the supply chain partners. Also, we have social challenges, which is basically getting the people in the supply chain and logistics to cooperate, to work on the integration and coordination of information among the partners. That's also another challenge. Another important challenge, I put it under educational challenge. As you know, IoT is still emerging technology, and a lot of people are still hesitant and skeptical about IoT because mainly they're not familiar with IoT per se. So there has to be some kind of what I call reskilling and upskilling of talent. The last theme or category in terms of the challenges, I put it under governmental challenges, which is the government regulations and policies that has to regulate the implementation of IoT. So that is a quick summary of the challenges that was presented in the paper.
Interesting. So we now can understand, right, that IoT plays an integral part in the growth of the logistic industry. So my next question is, how can IoT potentially improve the logistic process?
A very interesting question, Norhadi. Yes, IoT, I totally agree. It plays an integral part in the growth of logistics industry. And I already alluded to how IoT can potentially improve the logistics process through the opportunities I mentioned earlier. But if you ask me specifically how, if we simply put it, IoT, as I said, along with artificial intelligence and machine learning applications, can provide better traceability, which is what we're looking here in terms of logistics, better visibility, and more importantly, better predictability. For example, using data and predictive analytics to automatically schedule and plan routes, automatically schedule volume, truckloads. So in return, when we do that, we will have better control of our logistics, more specifically, more efficient operations in terms of truckload, in terms of route optimizations, and others. And ultimately, by doing so, we will have an enhanced and informed decision-making process. So that is how we can leverage on the IoT technology.
Okay, so in your opinion, what would be the biggest disruption caused by IoT in the logistic industry, and how is it possible?
IoT is one of several technologies disrupting logistics, so it's not the only one, but if we talk specifically about IoT and the logistics industry, I see warehousing and freight transportation will significantly be disrupted by IoT. We're talking about full transparency of inventory tracking, storage utilization, distribution centers capacity, order fulfillment, and more than that, things like accurate delivery information. This will increase the efficiency of logistics industry from receiving packages or products to the point of delivering the products or packages to the customer. Now, if I go back to the question of how is this possible, I can actually relate it and answer this question to my work experience in one of the logistics industry in one of the major DCs or distribution centers in the USA. In our work at that time, our facility was fully equipped with automated conveyors, scanners, sensors. So data was already generated, but it was stored in a repository somewhere in the WMS to be retrieved. However, the challenge is how do we transfer that data to the cloud? In my opinion, it's not impossible. It just requires time and money investment. So my point is there are several organizations with infrastructure that is already in place that needs to be enhanced with IoT technology. But you also have some other organizations that have to invest time and money from scratch. But also you have other organizations that are already ahead of the competition, such as Amazon and Alibaba. So that is how I see it happening in logistics.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. This is my another question. Could you please share some stories, maybe a few examples where the logistic industry successfully improved the bottom line process by adopting the IoT?
This is also another interesting Norhadi question. There are some companies providing IoT solutions for logistics. One of the examples that I can think of is a company named Zest Labs. They have a solution providing IoT platform for pallet level quality management from harvest to store. So they have the ability to store or actually to track product from the farm all the way to the consumer by tracking temperature, location, etc. And you also have other organizations. As an example, Ocado is one of the British online supermarket that is using automated warehouses. So if you go to the warehouse and you see what they're doing, they have like more than 1,000 robots that look like a washing machine or moving around, doing the sorting, the picking. This is more of a general example, but I want to give you a specific example from my personal experience and based on our field work and research. So we did, we developed a pilot study in one of the manufacturing facility, and we published the work in 2 papers, and it's about the implementation of IoT in warehouse. And both papers already published in the International Journal of Pervasive Computing and Communications. And there is also another paper in the Journal of Science and Technology Policy Management. And both of them explain how we implemented the IoT in one of the warehouses. So basically, the warehouse operations for this specific company, they were mainly traditional operations, or most of the data collection was done manually. And this is what you find in most of warehouses or distribution centers. And that is a typical operation or typical process. What we did, we developed an IoT-based system for real-time data collection and analytics for the process monitoring of their warehouse operations. And we did it by putting sensors on their products, RFIDs on the pallets, and connected them to the cloud and the internet and developed data analytics platform in real time. So the proposed system actually was relied or heavily on the utilization of IoT technologies, wireless internet connections, and also the web service for the purpose of keeping track of the product storage and movement in the warehouse. And the purpose there was to provide real-time data access to critical warehouse activities such as inventory allocation. They had labeling operations. We wanted to track the information about the labeling operations performance. And also we wanted to track the internal transportation. So when we did that, that actually helped increase the real-time warehousing process visibility for the management. And it was very interesting for them to make quick decisions about some of the issues they had. So that was implemented. Another thing that we're working on, which is we're currently working with in developing a low-cost IoT device with young researchers. And the purpose is to track products, pallets, and trucks on the move in the supply chain. That is more in the logistics area. So we are in the final stages of the device testing. So the point here that, and it's related to the other question, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Yeah. But there are some challenges that we try to overcome here.
Interesting. Okay, I actually still have a couple of questions, but we are running out of time. Anyway, before we cut close, do you have any other key takeaway that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, the couple of comments that I would like to share, and it's related to IoT and mainly to the digital transformation. That's another area where we're trying to focus our research in. There's a trend, obvious trend in the digital transformation in general that is actually accelerated with the global disruption due to the recent pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic. And I think this should lead to an improvement in the supply chain resilience, which is very important. Why? Because digital transformation will impact most of the organizational levels, whether it is internal, external, logistics, supply chain, etc. And I strongly believe there is a growing interest in IoT adoption in the supply chain management in general and logistics in particular. However, the topic is still considered emerging and complex. And for that reason, there is a need to reskilling or upskilling the digital capabilities in general and IoT in particular. And this is something I believe that HR and management have to focus on if they wanted to get more competitive advantage in today's market. So that is what I would like to share with you and the audience, which is related to the digital transformation and IoT per se.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for joining us today, Ammar. Thanks for the insight. Really enjoyed the conversation and look forward to speaking with you at another time. Take care.
Thank you so much, Nur Hadi.
At Bichara Supply Chain, we are committed to driving global perspective to embrace technological adaptation in improving process efficiencies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Bichara Supply Chain. And stay tuned for the latest updates. To learn more, visit our website www.bicharasupplychain.com. Thank you for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode.